It's killing me slow.
Yeah,
All right. Woo!
let's
That
start
was
by
that was
singing
the
that one.
semifinal, you guys. That was the semifinal. Welcome back, Eurovision fam. So this is the semifinal two debrief stream. I apologize for the late start, and I apologize for a little glitch that we had a little earlier on. But if you're joining us now, it is so good to see you. We are here with Lily Loves and Andrew Gordon joining us from the Washington D.C. watch party at Winter Garden, and of course Augusto Dominguez joining us from the Dominican Republic. I'm calling from the San Francisco Bay Area, so it is from the Eurovision fam team. An awesome time to see you guys again. It is great to reconvene after the semifinal. How are we feeling, you guys? How did the show go?
I think people need to meet Andrew because this is the first time they've met Andrew
Yes.
Oh, huh.
here on our stream.
Yes, Andrew,
So
everyone. He's the newest member of our team. Give him a
Hi.
big, warm welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here, and this is lovely. And I'm not going to keep talking about me because it's really about all the performances and the people and the hype and the things. And I'm still shook from the results, so I need a minute to breathe. So there's that too.
Well, I
All right,
definitely
so
understand that being shook by the results. Jordan, do you want to go ahead and give us those results?
yeah,
Uh,
so I have the results here, you guys. Announced in order today were Latvia, Austria, the Netherlands, Norway, Israel, Greece, Estonia, Switzerland, Georgia, and Armenia. I was not as accurate as I thought I would be, but do we have any shocks? What shocked us, you guys? Augusto?
So, to me, I have a couple of shocks. One, Latvia sneaked in. I didn't see them coming. That sneak, but a good one. Out of the girlies, I knew that all three girlies were not gonna make it.
Hmm.
However, the one that I wanted to pull through the most didn't make it.
My girl Sarah.
Correct.
Sarah who got
Sarah,
on that stage and
I
gave
thought
us
I thought she
a
had
performance
it.
of a lifetime.
What the
Me
I
hell?
too. Me too.
I I didn't like the low notes for her. It wasn't in her wheelhouse, and I think that's what burned her a little bit. And when you're starting with low notes and you got to build up, at least that's the vibe I'm getting. That's the excuse I'm making for why the votes didn't come in.
Probably.
Well, I mean, for me personally, I think Sarah had a better vocal and honestly better choreography that was more difficult than the choreography that Austria was doing because she was just posing. She was just, serving face and serving body and serving Austria's next top model. I wasn't getting vocals from her like I should have been. If I'm being 100% honest, like I think Sarah absolutely killed it. She has the best smile in the world. I'm so happy for like I'm so happy she did such a great performance. I would have liked to have be rewarded with qualification with that great performance. But no, for me,
Hmm.
Latvia qualified.
That
I
was a
think we all
shook.
wrote Latvia off.
I
Wait,
almost
okay.
had
So,
the
do you guys have a reasoning as to why this happened? Like, what's the rationale here? What are the thoughts?
I
I
think.
mean,
Ooh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
I mean, probably the running order helped them.
Hmm.
The running order helped Latvia, in my opinion, a lot because that entire segment pulled through. Austria, except Denmark, but Austria, Armenia, Latvia, out of those four, three of them pulled through. Crazy.
Hmm.
Um, my what I want to say earlier, and it's my last disappointment of the night, San Marino.
Gosh, their energy is
San
just.
But honestly,
Mhm.
when you think about it, something in today's performances, like part of us are, we have an accreditation this year. What I noticed in today's rehearsal earlier in the day, what I noticed in the show, something was off with the band. With
Mm.
Kenzie in particular, something was off because her energy is this, and she was like here, and her vocal wasn't like the vocal wasn't great. So I
Yeah,
think
Mhm.
they had everything to pull through, but something happened and they killed their chances themselves. Unfortunately, still voted for them though because they really wanted them to pull through. But That's how I wanted. That's how I wanted to wrap up my earlier statement. We can.
I think for
Okay.
Latvia, not Latvia, I'm sorry. The thing with San Marino is I felt the stage felt messy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ideas there and they weren't quite executed. It wasn't as bad as Poland, but the staging was very distracting for me when it came to San Marino. So I wasn't quite feeling it when we finally got to watch the rehearsals. Because let's tell you guys, the Wi-Fi, I don't know what was happening yesterday, but it was shambles, absolute shambles. But no, like honestly, I think that my thing with San Marino is it probably not qualified because of the messiness.
Yeah.
I feel like they maximize too much on like the staging with the lights and the background and having to focus on Kenzie and then the bandmates. It just a similar issue to an act that I had yesterday. There was no like center of the stage per se that you could hone in on and remember, yeah, that was the kind of like hallmark visual kind of like cue of competitiveness in the performance. I mean, yeah, I did personally have them in my final, but that's just my opinion. Andrew, did you have something to say as well?
I was gonna talk a little bit about Latvia, and I think the lesson that I often forget is that audience reaction in the actual competition itself is not canon, you know. And so when you saw Latvia beforehand, my big thing, my big like, oh, that's a sign, was when after night one they announced, hey, and stay tuned because night two you've got all these, and you're hearing they're getting all these big pops for all these artists. And as soon as they show Doms for Latvia, you could hear a pin drop, and you're like, oh no, oh, and you like all of a sudden I'm building the whole sympathy like narrative. I'm like, he's a good performer, he's so talented, this and that. I was ready to totally eulogize him, like, and all of a sudden you're watching the performance and people are like, okay, thanks, and you get the golf claps from everybody in the arena, and so you're thinking, okay, well, thanks for coming. And then all of a sudden they announce the results, and the first country that they announced is the one that you're like, well, it's clearly not going to be. And personally, and I know this is a debrief about night two, but I thought the same thing about night one, where all of a sudden they announced Serbia first, and I was like, am I seeing a different performance than everyone else? I mentioned this before. Is Serbia like the Deep Day, like the song that everybody loves and I don't, and it takes me 2 years to actually recognize and love? Because I'm feeling 2 years from now that I'm going to like this song from Serbia. And that might be the case, but I just feel like as they were announcing things, I'm like, oh no, oh, they're losing spots for what I thought would be this or what I thought would be this. And then all these little blips in the radar. But again, I'm rambling a little bit, but I guess it goes back to my first point of the people in the arena are not the entire world voting. They are some people voting, but they are not the entire world. And Latvia is a perfect example of that, and that people were really ready to back that horse. And we saw it.
Honestly, I was still shocked. I think that we have a comment, though, from Jeff, which puts, like, the needle, like, threads the needle. I don't know what to say. But the analogy I was going for there. But Jeff says Belgium with those vocals opened the door for Latvia to get in.
I agree.
Well, Latvia had perfect vocals, and not to mention, I think Latvia had probably the best mic feed of the night, and the best mic feed maybe so far in the contest when it comes to just clarity and what the performer needs and how they're able to evoke it just with the right wavelengths in the microphone. Yeah, Latvia, they executed that to the level that it needed to be.
As we say in pro wrestling, he was a technician. He just did all the things right. He was just very sound in his fundamentals. He knew what he had to do, and he checked all the boxes. He did all the things, and sometimes that's what it takes.
Technician. I'm going to start using that term now.
Well, I think with Don's is like, it's kind of funny to me because remember, this is like his third time he tried to represent Latvia. The other two times he came second in a tie break. So it's like, hey, maybe Latvia, you should have given him the go the other two times. But no, his vocal's perfect. And like, you can clearly tell that the delegation chooses what the mic feed sounds like, because I think some people are afraid their vocalist is going to mess up, so try to hide them in the mic feed. But like you said, he came through clear, he came through crisp, and you could actually hear him. So to me, that just says Latvia trusts what Dons could do as a performer, and they clearly should have.
He did.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
And
So
whether sorry, Lily, you were saying?
I was going to take us to the next topic, which is, were there any best? Like, what was the best
Yeah.
for you? Like, best performance, best costume, best whatever. What was your bests?
Best performance. Okay, when it came to actual delivery of the entire number, Switzerland. I got to give it to Nemo. That was a perfect execution. That it was so clean. It was so artful. It was so expressive. They really should feel proud about that performance. And it's not my favorite song in the semifinal. As a matter of fact, I think it's like when it comes to just a song, it's kind of falling somewhere in the middle in the semifinal for me. But performance I thought was stellar and excellent. Norway, I can also give my tens to. How about you guys?
Who wants to go next?
I have an unpopular opinion, but I'm on the boat and I'm being delusional. But for me, the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing, a lot of people are hating on it. They're saying, no, he's not winning. This cannot win. That's to me, I get it. I'm sold. I'm bought. This is my party. This is my jam. I connect with the song a lot, and it's crazy. So to me, that act closing the show was a perfect closer. They couldn't have picked a better entry to close this semifinal. It was great. I loved it.
I'm going to save my thoughts for the Netherlands later, but I'll go ahead and do my best. Not my best performance overall. For my best performance overall, that's going to go somewhere different. But I think I'm going to go best improvement on this one here. My best improvement is going to have to go to Czechia, because we all heard what she sounded like at the national final. Aiko clearly was working and doing her best to make sure she sounded good, because she sounded good tonight. Also, I'm still going to say it. You guys need to stop writing off the Czech Republic because you don't like the national final results. I'm going to stand on my horns. This is the pedestal I'm going to stand on top of here, because year after year after year, I feel like I'm saying, don't write off the Czech Republic, guys. They're going to win this decade, and they always pull it together when it comes to the staging. Like, people said Mikolos Josef wasn't going to qualify. He came top 10, didn't he? People said six. Thank you. People said friend of a friend was going to not qualify. Came 11th. It came 11th. It was close to coming top 10. People said We Are Domi weren't going to qualify.
They did.
Came, did what it needed to do. People said Vesna wasn't going to qualify.
Top 10.
I was in that boat in that season for a while too. I was one of the doubters of the Czech Republic at the time.
The Czech Republic understands it's a show. They get that you have to have a good song. They get that you have to have a good performance and you have to have a good visual. They know how to execute, and I'm just tired of people writing them off. But yeah, I'm going to get off my pedestal for a second here and just leave it with my best improvement goes to the Czech Republic, or Czechia.
Brilliant.
I know we're going in a lot of different places, but I think for me, there were some, we see it a lot. There are some acts that are just, they try to do something different, and it's like either they connect and it's like, oh yeah, that hit, and like, cha-cha-cha last year, right? Where you're like, I don't know, are people going to... Estonia for me this year, I thought their performance was a swing and a miss. I thought it was, hey, we're going to try to do all the things, and then I heard it, and then the way that it opened, I was like, oh, today I learned this was a rap song and that people aren't actually singing. And all of a sudden, the song built and built and built. And again, the audience, having the singer in front of the audience members that were just like, okay, there's somebody in front of me, not like a woohoo, not canon. And they grew and built and developed into this song that is now going to be performing at the grand final. And I was just like, oh, this is a swing and a miss. And they proved me wrong. And I think that they're going to take that, and I think they're going to brush things up, and I think they're going to give a great grand final performance. I just don't know where.
Well, I mean, they need to sing on key a little bit, though. They need to sing on key a little bit, because I want to say the entire 3 minutes, it's like the notes were coming at them, and they were just like Lil Kim, like just dodging the notes as much as possible. So they literally just need to make sure that they're hitting the note correctly, and I would have a better time. I kind of am happy to see them in the final, though, because it provides like a palate cleanser when you have all this kind of like female solo energy, which I feel like does it, like there's a lot of female soloists, and to kind of like break it up with something that's visually a little bit more different. Okay.
Well, I think that Andrew kind of transitioned us to where like our disappointments, what we thought was like the worst of the night, or just disappointments. I do agree. For me, the Czech Republic, oh my gosh, I'm still stuck on the Czech Republic, guys. For me, Estonia, I would agree with you 100% on Andrew. I'm kind of surprised it qualified, mostly because it just feels kind of like lost. It's like, where are you guys going? What's the game plan here? So, because of that, it's like kind of where I'm at, like, you know. But for me, one of my biggest disappointments. Oh gosh, someone else go before me. I gotta work this out.
I'll mention another one that was surprise to me.
Yeah.
I don't get Greece. I don't.
Okay, talk to us about why. Talk about it.
I appreciate the cute little TikTok thing that they did in the beginning, and I appreciate all the choreography and all these things. And it felt like they're just dressing up a song that's not that good. And that's been what's bothering me.
Okay.
There are hooks in there and there are things in there. It doesn't go anywhere for me. And I could be dead wrong. This is where y'all can start put your dukes up and defend Greece for me, because I think I'm not the only one who feels this way, and we have an audience that would probably be curious to understand why people love Greece.
Well, I mean, okay, I'm
chime
going to doctor what I'm saying.
Please.
Because Greece is tied for my winner, but I kind of do understand the perspective from which you speak. Augusto, did you have something to respond?
I was going to chime in because, one, I do understand where Andrew is coming from. Like, I've seen opinions similar to Andrew's all throughout Twitter the last few days since we've been able to see the rehearsals, because the staging was missing something. Like, the music video sold me. The song Bow Me Over, it transported me to Rosalia, Bakyal, Tokisha, the urban girlies of Spain and Latin America. Rosalia, but Mediterranean. So, to me, Zari is in my top 10. I have it like third or fourth. Top 10.
Okay, I'm going to say this.
But whoever complains about the staging, I do not blame you, because I do understand why a lot of people might have disconnected with what is going on, because a lot happened. It was cute. She was giving me see you next Tuesday energy, which I love. I consume this music. But again, if you feel a certain way about the staging, I don't blame you. A lot happened in 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to say this for Greece. I love the studio cut. Absolutely adore the studio cut. I am going to agree with you guys. Live, it wasn't there. That was actually my biggest disappointment, because I think the execution live is not what it should have been. It was focus at the staging.
Correct.
Focus is old. Focus is tired. Focus needs to focus on something else, because the staging was not it. I think that what Greece should have done is, when they saw that guy who made up his own choreo, they should have fired Focus and called him instead. Because the choreo we were getting from that guy who made his own choreography was fun. It was fresh. It was completely different than what we got. And I think that would have been an improvement. Like, that was like, yeah, I would have gotten someone other than Focus to do this.
You know who would have staged Grease correctly? The same people who staged Chanel 2 years ago. Unpopular opinion.
It
was an American team, Kyle Hanagami, who's done a lot of choreo for K-pop girlies and K-pop bands. He did Chanel, and he's really good. The guy, he a little messy, but when it comes to his work, look at Chanel 2 years ago. They ate that, and most of that was his.
Like, and that's the kind of song that would really use that choreography very well.
Exactly.
I mean,
like, you need a person, not him necessarily, but someone of that profile.
Yeah. Jordan, this means it's your turn to come up with your least favorite aspect of the night's show.
My least favorite aspect of tonight's show, well, I mean, Armenia being announced last was kind of a kick in the gut. My least favorite aspect about tonight's show, Kenzie's mic being really low, to the point where we heard the backing over her, and that was just kind of annoying and nauseating. I also, just the mic feeds in general have been less than on par, I would say.
Blame the delegations. Blame the delegations. They choose their own mic feed. Because
I'm looking at all of you. I'm looking at all of you.
Slimane was all the way back there. And he came through like he was right up on the mic. I need people to start, like, I need the delegations to figure that out. Because when you turn your mic down like that, it just leaves us disappointed. You know what it makes me think of? 2016, right? Armenia. Not Armenia. Oh my gosh. Ooh, scratch that. Because the country I was going to mention, I shouldn't have mixed up with Armenia. Azerbaijan. If you go back and you watch Azerbaijan in 2016 during the semi, she sounded awful. She sounded terrible. But then you go and you listen to that final, they turned her mic down and they turned up the mic of the backing vocalist. Because it sounds much
I think I
better
do
in the
remember that,
final.
actually. I think I actually do remember that. But hey, I mean, it's just a good thing to note that at the end of the day, it's not exactly the artist who's gonna not sound great. It's like the mic feed who's could also be to blame. I verbalize that terribly. Unsolicited Opinions is saying a lot of people not singing important parts of their songs tonight hate the heavy use of backtrack. Yeah, we are leaning a little bit. We are leaning a little bit. We can see that given this year. I mean, we did see it in past years with backtrack, but this year it does seem like we are intentionally missing lines to take breaths, to have choreography moments. The backtrack is now an instrumental part of the delivery. And that is interesting now to see.
Croatia, if you win, get rid of the
Fix
backing
this.
track. Get rid of it. Ireland, if you win, get rid
Fix
of the backing
this.
track. Switzerland, if you win, get rid of the backing track. Switzerland, you won the first Eurovision. You gave us Celine Dion with your second win. You know what a vocalist sounds like. Just get rid of the backing track. I don't want vocals in the backing tracks anymore because it comes off as lazy and incomplete. Now, I will give you this. My one thing I would say that I feel different about this with is if you have a backing track that's giving us creativity, a la what
Netherlands.
Daffy did, and what not the Netherlands. What Daffy did, or with what oh my gosh, what's his name? The Belgian man, Mustii did this year, where they had the chorus that was made up of like Eurovision fans, and it's so many different parts. Then you can keep your backing track, your vocals in the backing track. But if it's like a simple two-part harmony, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna just have people back there. I think it just for certain songs it just doesn't work yeah, no, we need live vocals there.
Mhm. Well, I mean, we did try out backing track for a good number of years, so now we do see a reliance being built upon it, which I had a feeling would happen when, like, all these years back when they said when we first had this debate, I had a feeling that we would end up relying.
It's been
And
4
we are.
years.
It's
This
been
is
4
the fourth
years.
year. This is the
Oh
fourth
my
year it happens.
gosh.
Because, I mean, in 2021, it did make sense. Still a lot of COVID, yada, yada, yada. In 2022, we could bypass it. Italy, we know it's messy. But then the BBC couldn't fix this. SVT couldn't fix this. They couldn't.
I mean, I do feel like you need to challenge the performer to be able to sing their entire song for the Eurovision Song Contest. I feel like that's just kind of a baseline requirement that should be, well, not requirement, but it's a tradition, and it's just a way to, I don't know, pay respect to the fact that you're doing this for millions of people on behalf of your country. Like, you should perform it to the most of your ability and not exactly use the just pre-recorded audio. It doesn't really it doesn't help, I don't think.
Did we have any other disappointments we wanted to bring up?
I mean, Marino is one, but
we got another one.
Another disappointment. Well,
can we talk about Austria for a second?
Go ahead.
Can we talk about how Miss Austria was walking around, posing from time to time on the stage? She didn't really sing. She didn't really give us hard choreo.
The vocal wasn't good either. The vocal was not good either.
It was disappointing. Not gonna lie, that was a disappointment. We already talked about Estonia.
For Kaleen's sake, it is really easy comparatively to improve a vocal performance than it is to completely change around choreography with camera work, etc., all of that other stuff. So that is probably the full package, as is, even including singing, because there was a lot of times when she was singing where we would hear the backing track in lieu of her voice. And unsolicited opinion says Austria came through and gave us nothing.
She in charge.
She is the queen of come on girl, give us nothing.
It was light. It was a light show. It was an EDM show. It was an outfit reveal show. It wasn't a singing show. For
Exactly.
Austria's performance, it was not a singing show.
Sorry, I just got a shout out from somebody in the room that recognized us from the site. That's all.
Oh, that's cute. Hi.
Hello.
Hey. No, I was gonna say, can we talk about the Netherlands now? Because here's my spicy take.
Bring it.
I think the staging is jarring. I think it's distracting. I think it's not where it needs to be. I get the point. He's kind of going for like 90s nostalgia. Like, I remember the internet when it was fun. We got a little taste of like a Roy Tuma. We got some Ievana Polka during the interval act.
The
and
movements,
it's giving me that
yes.
era of internet. Or like when Genghis Khan was a huge meme online, where we used to just send each other Genghis Khan. It's giving, like, I like the fact the staging is giving me old internet, because the sound I hear is happy hardcore old internet times. Because of that, I don't hate it, but I just find it to be really jarring. Like, the face on the floor is giving moisturize me, for those of you who watch Doctor Who.
Yeah,
it's
directly.
like that, and
It gave me anxiety to look at.
And like having the person dressed up in a bird costume, it's like, I get lyrically the song is deep and like important, but the staging is just so jarring compared to that. And then you end on like this somber note, and I'm like,
which is recap.
That's the only part with subtitles. That's the only part people can understand.
That being like the recap part too is just, that did confuse me.
I understand. I'm on the boat,
Okay,
but like, I'm on the boat. I'm on the Dutch boat. Like, I'm Team Netherlands this year, but I agree with the criticisms, most of them. The recap being the outro, it's kind of odd. It's a choice. Cute, but it's a choice. They could have selected another part of the song, especially the big Rave segment with the bam bam ba ba bam bam, like, which is pretty memorable in my opinion. That could have helped a little bit, but to each their own. But again, I'm on the boat. I'm sold. I'm leaving. I'm like Elisa this year. I am living in a world of delusion, so I will remain delusional about the Netherlands this year. That's all I can add.
All right. Andrew, what are your thoughts on the Netherlands?
I think that it checked a lot of boxes. It was an emotional piece, right? I'm kind of checking my notes because it's really hard to... I put some words in there that I feel like made sense, and now I just have to find them. But this is the... Man, okay. Yeah, I keep... It's so interesting that they had them, as the conclusion, as we talked about before, and sort of like it almost felt like we were on a talk show, and this was like here are our takeaways from today's experience, and then just like making it a letter to his parents. It was catchy. It was fine. It added some eccentricity that I think needed to be added. And, the talking heads throwback, jacket was kind of neat. I liked it. Did it like wow me? Did it take me to the moon and I'm gonna, ride them out? No, not really. But like, I'm happy they made it to the final, and I'm happy they're there, and it gives something special to the grand final that a lot of other countries aren't bringing. So it's a really short answer of me saying it's fine, it's good. Thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. I think I agree with all of you. I have the same sentiments as every single one of you about this performance. Yeah, like I don't have anything like constructive to add. Y'all said my points. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's talk about kind of like the production stuff that wasn't necessarily a competing song. Like, so this is things like best use of the stage, how we feel about the interval acts, that kind of thing.
I love the Melfest number. I love the Melfest. Like you came back here because you voted for us. It's your fault number. I love that.
The sing along was cute. The three queens look cute. Like Sir Tabby Runner does not look 60. She is
60.
She's
she's 60.
She does not look She does not look her age. She is iconic. I want her skincare routine.
She's like an arguable 28. Like, girl.
Like, she looks younger than how she looked 20 years ago when she won. No cap.
I disagree with that, but she does look good for her age.
She does look great.
She's moisturized. She's very well moisturized.
Alina Paparizu is a queen. I love her. She can come back anytime. She can do all the intervals she can do. I love her. She's always welcome in my party. And Charlotte Pirelli, she just served Auntie energy. She was there, gave us CUNTY energy. She served vocal. And she served fun. I loved it.
I guess it's like I need to know what other engrossers we're gonna get to show up. Because Charlotte Pirelli is Benjamin's aunt. Is Diodato going to show up because he's a cousin? Then you have his mother. She did Melfest a few times. Like, his brother. Like, how many more people can we get in this family to show up at your?
I do not know. I cannot answer that question.
We're eventually
doing the flag parade music? Because we can get Swedish House Mafia to come to the flag parade, and then we hit another one off the list. No, just and they got their money worth out of Charlotte. I just kind of wish, granted they only did their winning songs, but I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of Hero from Charlotte as well as Take Me to Your Heaven, because Take Me to Your Heaven just sounds like Christmas to me. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, it's Christmas time. Let's go.
The Swedish crowd would know Hero too. Like they would be able to sing along with it.
This is a story of love and devotion. I'm done. I'm not going to sing anymore than that. I'm a terrible singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I love that Melfest number. Does anyone else have a highlight from the performances or?
Yeah. What looked or sounded good other than the act, you guys, or is there something else from the act that you haven't brought up yet?
I was just gonna say I like the Karia kind of got shoehorned in a little bit, and it wasn't like a full. Hey, we're just gonna bring it all back, but it was like hi, we're gonna do a review of Cha Cha Cha. Hey, y'all remember the choreography? Let's sing in a thing. Awesome, cool. Let's check the boxes. I like that. I think they knew that they had to bring him back in some shape, fashion, or form. And the fact that Sweden, essentially the hosts opened the competition being like, don't blame us. We voted for Finland. Like that kind of idea, saying, hey, kind of honoring them by bringing them back. I love that.
It was definitely a lot of fun there. So again, old internet. I'm an old person on the internet. I've been on since the late 90s. Avon Polka always hits. Lumens always hit.
That was for me. That was for little preteen otaku me when I was discovering all those things when I first had access to the internet and my whole world opened. Yeah, that was it. Brought me back to that happy space, with the Lumens and with the Avon Polka. Yeah.
But yeah, that seems like it. So, any last thoughts before we close the stream out?
Just so you guys know, we're going to have a grand final debrief stream at the end of the grand final day, and it will be with the link that you see, and it won't be because that I clicked away from it and then had to start a new one. I apologize for that, you guys. But before Saturday, I think, we have the lineup now. I don't know what else there is to do. Oh, Lily, you're muted.
You're mute.
There will be a Twitter Spaces tomorrow. Alicia and I are going to do going over the running order. But other than that, not really much happening until after after the final. Can't believe we're already at the final, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on everything. We are Eurovision Fam, EurovisionFam.com as well. And I also just want to go ahead and give another shout out to the charity we're doing right now. Where if you go to escfans.giving, you'll be able to donate to 3 different charities you can choose from. So, the money is going directly to the charity. It's like Doctors Without Borders. There's a couple, Oxfam, and there's a few different ones. because we're here. We want positive energy and positive community, and do that. If you haven't watched it yet, we did have a special pre-show stream, where we had some guests from other channels and other outlets that cover Eurovision. So you can go ahead and watch that. It's on delay, but it's up on our YouTube channel as well. So thank you all so much for joining us for these hours of programming. Now we all have to stay awake to see what the running order is going to be. And yeah, so we'll see you on Saturday then.
See you on Saturday. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Augusto. Thank you, Lily. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.